Welcome back, everyone. I want to start off with a couple things. So, Civ 7, what are you guys thinking? I know we got news that it's recently developing. We've got a new lead director coming in soon. I don't know when, but the current director ended up leaving. He's been there for about 25 years. What do you guys think?
Well, I know that me and Curtis have played Civ 6, and Noah played it for a little bit, but not really as in depth. Tushi, you never really got your hands on it, right?
I played it. I remember one night we played it for like 3 hours straight. That's like the only time I've ever played it.
Yeah, I enjoy the format. I think it's cool, like having that kind of board game online, where it's like this just long, drawn out, like fun experience as long as you can get into like the details of things. And it's like, it's kind of like that, some of those betrayal games, like that the thing game we have, where at any moment when you're, your teammates are plotting against you, right? Like they might be not hostile in the first 10 minutes, but at some point they're going to stab you right in the back.
Yeah, you're the biggest piece of shit, Connor, when it comes to Civ 6. Like, you'll be like, yeah, man, let's take this guy down, and then you have a fucking entire armada at your doorstep about 5 minutes later.
All I need is that plot of grapes, okay? I just need to farm those grapes for my winery, right? And then all of a sudden I show up at your doorstep with like an armada.
Yes.
I'm a good Samaritan, okay? I don't go directly. I'm not thinking about attacking somebody. Connor, he will deceive you the entire game, and next thing you know, you'll start finding spies everywhere, siphoning out your resources, your gold. Where did this come from? Oh, I don't know.
I remember one game I was trying to do that shit to Connor, and I was just like sneaking religious like priests and shit, or what are they called, like back into his empire. Yeah. And he saw one of them, and he's like, yeah, I'm dropping a nuke on you or some shit. And he just came and invaded my house.
That is why I have an armada of nukes ready for him. I'm not building it to attack him. I'm defending myself.
Dude, you're such a liar, dude. You're such
dude.
At the beginning, okay, we had one of those games where we were like, okay, let's try and go for like the science one or whatever. Like really early on, we were like, okay, let's not nuke each other, right? It's not fun. So let's do the science victory thing, try and race to that. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to beat you, dude. I'm going to beat you. I'm about to beat you. And he's like, yeah, right. It's like 30 minutes into the game or some shit. All of a sudden, I see...
back into the Stone
Age. And he's like, yeah, you're going to win now. I'm like, what the fuck? Because he told me he wasn't working on nukes, too. And he just had that shit ready since like turn fucking 10.
Jesus.
But
how do you get that?
Was funny.
I'm sorry, I know I'm totally off.
I don't remember. I don't remember the exact time.
You got to start the process.
He was preparing it. He was like high roading into like just straight channeling into nuke technology the moment the game started. He's like, how do I get nukes? How do I get nukes? How do I get nukes?
Everybody else.
And I was over there trying to like read books and shit.
Yeah.
But no, if Civ 7 can do Civ 6 but better, that's great. I think that'll be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, we absolutely love the game, and I think it's really fun. But I know, Connor, you wanted to say something. I'm just wondering what you guys think of a new lead director coming in and designer, because I know for a lot of other game companies that doesn't have that kind of an effect. Sometimes it has a positive effect, sometimes it's negative. But it's been a pretty long time this guy's been there, and everything that he so far has released has been fairly good. So
I read that the new lead director worked on like the DLC for Civ 6. I'm not sure if you guys played that yet, but that could directly translate into the new Civ 7. So if that's good, then I think they could do a good job on the new game, but that's all up to you guys. I haven't really played any of the new DLCs or anything like that.
The DLCs are really fun.
Okay.
I know me and Connor played a couple of them. It basically adds a whole new take on the game of what you need to focus on. So like, for instance, like there's a dark age and a light age aspect to it. So you basically have to focus on advancing your civilization to a certain point during a time period. And if you don't, your citizens start to go into a dark age, and then it keeps going back, and then your citizens revolt against you and take over your own cities. So it's like, if you're not really in an area where you got good resources and can kind of put the advancements to use, you're just constantly fighting against your own people, and then somebody else comes in and destroys you. Or you have the weather bonuses too, where tornado comes through, natural disasters, your land starts flooding, and you lose off a bunch of stuff. So I mean, those couple DLCs that we played, I can't remember what they're specifically called, but they're really fun.
Like, isn't one of them like Gathering Storm or something?
Yeah, yep, Gathering Storm's one of them.
I guess, have you guys played like the previous Civilizations? It was Civ 6, the first one you played.
Civ 6 was the first one I played. I know I watched a couple of them before, and I know a lot of people really liked Civ 5. Said it was one of the best ones, but
like, what do you add from Civ 6 to Civ 7? Because there's so much. It's such an intricate, like, complex game. What do you add that you haven't already added DLC wise?
I think maybe more intricate tiling systems, because one of the things with the base Civ 6 game is that it's heavily dependent on resources.
Mm-hmm.
But those resources are very similar across the board, and they only give very small bonuses. So, I was talking about grapes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, grapes would be considered a luxury. Luxury encompasses, like, a huge amount of things. So all those luxury tiles, like cotton, grapes, silver, things like that,
diamonds,
they're all the same. But if you have, like, one perk, it might give you, like, a small bonus for having a different one. I think if they were to maybe enhance that system and have, like, really big differences based on what your resources are, I think that would be really cool, because it would make the different civilizations have a real need to have certain resources and make you fight over it. Like, I'm not going to fight over having, like a whaling station if I can get the same from a grape station,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that also
like
makes the trade system a lot more interesting, because I feel like trading is just kind of like, whatever. Like, unless I really need something.
So the trading system's cool, right? Like, you get to, so when your traders, like, go along, they actually make a road behind them, which allows your troops to go. So one way people do it is they start trading, and then their military has a quicker way to your...
And you lose the movement penalty on that, too, so your troops can actually move more tiles at once.
Yeah. And if they had, like, a really, really intricate trading system, like, resource system, just making it, like, super out there, I say screw it. Like, sometimes you want to benefit the newer players, but I think sometimes it's cool to have, like, the most intricate systems ever, even if it's super difficult. I just think those things would be cool. Maybe it's like an option you toggle. That's what they can improve, though. I think those would be big improvements. And some military changes. I think the combat is interesting in Civ 6, but it can be kind of boring sometimes when it's rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess, how do you feel about, like, the hexagonal tile system? Like, do you think they can get more complex in terms of, like, not being so structured?
They're not going to go RTS because that's just not their brand. Unless this new director comes in and says, "Screw it, we're going full RTS." I don't think that really makes sense, but I think they could definitely find a way to speed it up.
I think it would be a little hard to manage if you had everything all at once.
Yeah,
because even if you're taking turns, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially by the end of the game, and you just have so many moves that it takes like each person like 5 minutes.
All of your facilities, everything, and it's like
I've seen some good Civ 6 players, and they're just like on their turn, and it's like 30 seconds that they have to do it.
That's insane.
They all have it all like macroed up on their keyboard.
Well,
it's nuts. Yeah,
it's the reason why they're pros, man. I feel like every time we're playing, it's like, fuck, why is it taking you 5 minutes? I always had to like have music on or something out of the background.
Whose go is it? Like, click next.
Turn is it?
Yeah.
I'm like,
like common turns. Yeah.
I'm trying to plot out like 2 moves ahead of mine to see where the hell I'm gonna end up, or if Connor's gonna kill me. Yeah. But it sucks too. Like in the beginning, just a quick side note: when the barbarians are like 4 levels more advanced than you, and you're sitting there with bows and arrows, and they come up with muskets and a whole cavalry against you, it's like that can set you back pretty far. But I mean, that's the whole aspect of the game that I love. I mean, that's fun.
Did they give a reason why they're changing the lead director and the lead designer? Did the previous one leave, or did they just make a change?
Oh yeah.
I think he just left. I know he put out a statement. Let me see if I can find it quick. He put out a statement that he was leaving after like 23 years of being with them, and he wanted to move on to something else. But
I'm tired of a certain franchise for 23 years, so can't blame the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been like a ton of shifts in terms of like staffing in the gaming industry, like between like all the different Blizzard stuff going on. So I don't know, I feel like the talent grab out there in like the gaming developer space is going to be increasing over like the.
Yeah, that's true. Imagine he moves on to some shit like Candy Crush.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, did you guys see the thing about Blizzard? Where they had a bunch of these like mandatory policies that they were bringing back into action. Did you guys see anything about that?
I did not.
A little bit on it, but do you like know actually like everything that they did and like the full background?
Yeah, I know the general gist of it. So obviously, California is very expensive to live there. Noah, you should know how expensive you're living in New Jersey right now.
Yeah.
So basically, Blizzard was, like most corporate companies, allowing their workers to work remotely entirely. And this was happening for 2 years after COVID. And now they have basically said, you have to come back into the office, which is an issue because due to those high living prices, those workers moved out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And now all these developers are being forced back into this where they're not getting paid enough to actually sustain their living there. And there was actually conflict between the higher ups. I think he was a CEO, like a manager of some sort, and he basically in a meeting, and this was confirmed to be said in a meeting, that he was basically saying that because everybody was getting pay cuts too in Blizzard because even though it was like the best quarter yet, so everybody was getting pay cuts, and he was basically saying that the CEOs and stuff and managers were getting hit just as hard as the developers. Yeah, buddy. Like the guys who are getting like $40,000 a year to develop, or less, by the way, there are people who are getting paid less than that to develop these games.
Are you serious?
And they're saying that their bonuses are getting hit just as hard. I'm sorry, that $1 million package every year is not the same. What'd you say?
I didn't realize game devs are getting paid so little. What's the average like salary of a game dev? Because I know like software development, which is totally different field and like expertise, is like you're pretty much guaranteed to be making six figures or damn near it straight out of college. While AI hasn't completely taken their job yet, but it's a completely separate thing. But I don't know. I would have assumed that game devs were in high demand. I don't think it's a very common.
I'm seeing around 50 to 60,000 a year. Unless you're in like in the top 10%, then you're obviously six figures plus for the top 10%. But
that ain't gonna get you much in California, man. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I've seen a lot of insider stuff too, saying that they are like, if you're not in one of those main development roles, you're getting paid jack squat. And most of it is just that experience.
And I'm sure, too, that they're working fuck all hours, man. Yeah. I remember when that recent thing came out when Blizzard had all those layoffs and people are pissed off about the games they were developing. And that I remember talking about it, that they were working like 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week.
Yeah, forcing them to sleep at the office. Yeah.
That was the one where they didn't include a bunch of people's names on the list. I can't recall if that was Blizzard or not, but like the games that they published and like the notes on the bottom, who did all the work, the people that were like working there for 4 or 5 months weren't even on the list after putting in 100 hours a week.
That sucks ass, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like, what happens with Blizzard from here on out? Like, are they going to end up like loosening their policy? Are they really requiring people to go back into the office? Or
no, yeah.
Well, like if people are leaving at that high of a rate, like again, they have to have people develop their games. So are they just hiring a full new workforce to do it all?
Yeah, they've been doing that.
But I mean, do they even get the thing in China under control yet?
No, I don't think so. You can't play well in China anymore.
I feel like this whole company is just getting shit on, and then they're shitting on their employees.
Not more.
Yeah.
Well, they have their best quarter yet, so can't be.
I know you guys didn't follow Blizzard back in the day because you never played Warcraft 3 or any of or Warcraft 2 even. I played those games back then. Those games are gems, by the way. Anybody listening should go play those games if they can. Even though Warcraft 3 got absolutely ruined by Reforged somehow. But Blizzard back in the day used to be a really quality company because the people actually loved the games that they made. And they worked really hard. They made a whole system to make Warcraft 3. You know Dota, by the way?
Yeah.
Dota was made by a Warcraft 3 player in their engine because they allowed players to use their engine to have all the assets in the game, basically.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and somebody patented one of their custom maps. It was called Wrath of the Ancients or something like that, and they made Dota 2, or Dota, the first Dota game, and it became wildly popular.
Yeah.
And then, like, 10 years down the line, guess what Blizzard does? So all the old developers have been kicked out. They have been publicly stated as just hating the new Blizzard. And then they implemented a policy into their Warcraft 3 Reforged that makes it so all of the custom maps are their property.
That's fucked.
So that if anybody else happened to make like a Dota-like game, it would be theirs, and they could sue anyone for the rights to it.
That's insane. But does that kind of go along with like the Activision Blizzard merger? Like that all that kind of happened at the same time, or was that like completely separate from the issue?
Yeah, the Activision Blizzard merger was a major part in a lot of the older developers leaving. Because they felt like that the soul getting ripped out of the company, and a lot of corporate executives coming in and determining what they wanted in the games rather than what the developers thought would be best for the game. We see it all the time. But going back to the thing we were talking about before, because I don't want to get too off track. So those CEOs I'm mentioning, they were shit-talking their staff, which is confirmed again, doing all this garbage saying like, oh, we're taking it just as badly. And they've been laying off tons of people too. And with all this, I don't know if you guys saw this either, the developers who are working there currently have actually gone on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff and just started shit-talking the hell out of them.
Have they gotten fired yet, or are they just like anonymously like whistleblowing type thing?
There was the one guy who was fired before all this for not reporting negatively on one of his underlings because of the stack ranking that they do, and he got fired for that, and he started shit talking about it. It's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess. Like, the upper management doesn't know what they're doing. They're just trying to like toe the status quo, and the developers underneath are suffering. And I mean, I don't know where it even goes from here, because they've been doing this for so long that they think it keeps working. They do keep getting money. They keep getting money, so they keep doing it. And I don't know if I mean, the whole company's just a shell of itself. But
they have so many games that like a certain number of them do well, like business wise, like whether or not it actually like, I mean, like Activision Blizzard, like that's including the entire Call of Duty franchise. So again, they got money to go around for days, so it's not the issue. But
I can talk all day about how far Blizzard has fallen. But the general gist is two companies actually offered to hire any of the developers leaving Blizzard right now. And that was, what do they call them? ArenaNet, which does Guild Wars 2, and then Monolith, which made the Shadow of Mordor game, Shadow of War. And they're working on the Wonder Woman game right now, I think.
Yeah.
And they basically went on Twitter and said, like, hey, any of you developers sick of this garbage, come to us, we'll hire you.
Well, I mean, it's one.
Right, I'm off my pedestal. Whatever you guys think about it.
No, I mean, it's just gonna become a talent grab, because I'm sure like all those developers are like relatively competent. So now their studios can go and grab them. I know labor, like jobs aren't all that hot right now in terms of like the job market, but you know, if Blizzard's laying off a bunch of people, I'm sure they'll be the good ones will get picked up other places. So you know, hopefully Blizzard can turn around, because again, we're not going to avoid Blizzard making games that we want to play. Like, they just have so many of the best game franchises.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unless maybe as Microsoft buys them out, and I don't really think that's going to go through, but unless they buy them out and something completely changes.
Well, yeah.
I was honestly hoping that Microsoft buyout would go through, because as corporate as corporatized as Microsoft is, we at least see that they make products as a live service kind of well, you know, like they've been updating Minecraft at a consistent rate. Like you see that they do good work, even though it's slow and corporate, it's still like good work, wherein they're not having all these huge scandals, you know.
Yeah, well,
maybe that'll protect games like Diablo, some of their, maybe the Warcraft 3 Reforged stuff will finally get fixed out. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like we're on Diablo. Like the whole Diablo, was it Unlimitors? The thing that got released on mobile. Immortal, that's what it is. Yeah, released on mobile was like an absolute nightmare because like people thought it was actually going to be like a new Diablo game, but like
perfect example of modern Blizzard. Perfect example.
They're releasing the Diablo beta next month, so we'll see if this trend continues. I know they're releasing the full game in June. Have you guys played any of the Diablo games? I'm not a huge Diablo guy. I think I've played them a little bit, but are you guys like big into those games at all, or?
Not too much. I know I talked to Connor about playing them a little bit, but I was on the fence about it for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I was originally going to play Diablo 2 because my dad owned it, but I thought it was too scary, so I never really played through it because I was really young at the time.
I know, it's one of those
I played
things
Warcraft 2 at the time instead.
I'll probably play the beta because I don't know if it's. I don't think you have to pre-order. I think it's an open beta. I'll have to check into it, but I might be able to play the beta.
Standard edition's $70, so they're still going with that full $70 sell point. Ultimate edition's $100, but I mean, I don't know if I feel like Diablo.
What I'm saying
Diablo's a game
is the beta free to play? Is it like a open beta that you don't have to pre-order for? Because at least then you can get like a relatively good idea if that's the game for you. Especially if you've never played the franchise before. It's not like a Call of Duty beta where you know what it's going to be more or less.
Yeah.
Or is it a closed beta where you have to pre-order the game?
I don't know. I know
we'll have to look more into it, but one thing we know a lot of people are going to be excited about. So the Diablo beta coming out March 17th, and then the full game is being released on June 6th. As of right now, there might be delays or some shifts, but guess that'll be jury's out on another Activision Blizzard game.
Yeah. Speaking of new games, I know Tusha, you want to talk about the future of like remaking games and remasters and seeing if they're kind of worth it in your opinion. I know God of War, not necessarily remasters, but they're kind of adding to it. I think they've done a really good job to it, but what are your thoughts?
I think, Nintendo just released Metroid Prime as a remake. I'm not sure if you guys played any of those games, but I remember playing the hell out of Metroid Prime on the Wii, like way back in the day. So I was actually really excited to see they remastered Metroid Prime for the Switch. And so I'm probably planning on getting that. But I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on like remakes and to see if that's just like a soulless cash grab or is remaking older games actually worth it. Because to me, for some games it is, just because, you know, seeing your nostalgic games in the new generation, like better visuals, better sound, just a better overall experience, I think it's worth it. But yeah, for example, like Resident Evil 4, I know they're remaking that. That was a really popular game back in the day. Like my brothers play the hell out of it. So they're really excited for that remake. And so, looking at some other examples, like the Tomb Raider series, like way back in the day, that was a popular game. They just like remade those. I think those are really good too, like the new ones. I haven't played them, but I know they're making like, movies out of them and stuff now. So
I got those for free. I haven't played them yet, but they've gotten really good reviews so far, and they seem like everybody likes them. As far as like remasters go, I like bringing back Spyro. I thought was really cool. Crash Bandicoot, and then adding to the series 2 with Crash Bandicoot 4, I thought was really cool. Yeah. I think some of the remasters are a good idea, but along with that, we've definitely seen some remasters that are definitely just cash grabs, where you're not really getting the full extent to it. Because I can't remember which Resident Evil, I think it was Resident Evil 3, I think it was, they just shortened the story up. I believe, and then remastered it, and it just wasn't as good. I know, Connor, did you play Dark Souls Remastered? I know you said you didn't like that one as much as the original.
My take on remasters is I hate all of them.
I think I like it when they revive the series rather than remaster. Like
that's fair.
Just by its nature, like yeah. Again, but remaster, you're going to play the same game you just did, and if you're going to pay another $60 for a remaster, I'm like, okay, that.
Yeah, I don't think remasters should be full price.
They should be free.
Agreed.
True.
If I own the original game, I should get the remastered version because it's the company trying to get goodwill with the player base, or they really like it.
If it's for PS1 or PS2, how are you gonna get it for, say, PS4 or 5?
Put it for free on the store. I don't know. I'm sure there's ways that you can ID that you bought the first game.
I was gonna say like $10 to $15. Like
yeah,
a remaster. Yeah. If you really like the game, then I'm game to spend $10 to $15 as long as it's like truly better, like they improve the gameplay to like new gen, improve graphics, improve sound, like Tusha was saying. But
I like the soft reboots. I think soft reboots, especially for the Resident Evil ones, those were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing those. I love watching them on YouTube and stuff. Those were fantastic. I'm assuming the fourth one is going to be good too, since the developers were actually careful and didn't want to ruin the image of the old game because it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a good game. I can appreciate a soft reboot. I hate remakes because I think they're all cash grabs.
Yeah.
That's my take. I'll let you guys talk about whatever you want.
So the most recent remake that I can think of that was like in the nearest time span was The Last of Us. So the first Last of Us was released on with the PlayStation 3. And like and then it got remastered to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So I've played like the first 30 minutes of the new remaster. I haven't played the original, but my brother, who played the original PS3 version, said it was worth the $60 to get the remastered version.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
another version of that is The Witcher 3, where they actually like remastered the game for PS5, but there's a free upgrade.
But it was free, yeah.
It was free
yeah.
if you
which makes
had
sense.
the game previously.
Yeah.
Again, I think it makes sense for remastering games from PS4 because you can still download on your PS5, but you just can't do that if you're doing PS1, PS2, PS3.
I would say explain why it would be worth to play the exact same game you played before, just in better graphics.
I mean, my brother explained it to me. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
So my brother explained it to me, like, basically it's a whole different experience just because the atmosphere of the game has changed. I mean, it's still like the similar story and it's like the same story beats and everything, but just the overall experience of like playing as Joel or Ellie and stuff is just, to him, it was like a whole different experience, and he enjoyed that. He enjoyed the first Last of Us, and he loved that game. So just like enjoying that again in better graphics, better sound, better gameplay it was like reliving the same game,
just
but
for a
just
nostalgia
better.
Point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I can feel that.
And I think for The Witcher, like what they did was they like improved the gameplay, like they tweaked some of the gameplay things that people didn't like from the first game that they just never updated because it was like so core to the original game. And just being able to play it on like a smoother game engine. Again, I think it's for The Witcher 3, it's a little bit different because it's a free upgrade, so you're not paying anything for it. But if you're paying like $10-15 if you're playing like on a like new game engine and they're actually like improving the gameplay, then I think it's worth it. But I agree, like a remaster should not be 30, 40, 50, 60, especially not $70.
Two games I want to point out too. I thought like the Halo Anniversary Pack where they did like Combat Evolved and then redid all the graphics where you could switch between playing like the original graphics and everything and then go back to like the new and enhanced. Yeah, you could hit like the back button on your controller. Like the original Halo Combat Evolved. You could play that on Xbox One as like the base, not dog shit graphics, but like when they were the original graphics where everything looked like back down where it looked cool.
RTX on.
Yeah, you can turn it off on the controller, but they made that too for like I think it was Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and then they added Reach to the series, which I loved Reach, but that I think that included all of them for I think it was $50 or something like that, so it wasn't too bad. But another one I want to point out is like Skyrim, how they've constantly remade it for every single console, and then they had the special edition, and then they had the anniversary edition, which basically added it officialized mods that were already out there to do what the expansions did. Except for like Hearthstone and Dawnguard and that stuff. Those were great, but like other content that was definitely it's just a cash grab for it.
Yeah, I think as long as
Connor knows that too.
I think as long as they're transparent about what's actually getting updated, like in the case of Skyrim, like what are you getting when you get this new edition? Then
not too much.
Again, it's not like all that much more expensive. So if you're buying Skyrim for the first time, not a problem. But are you going to spend another 15, 20, 30 bucks on the game to get a mod that's free, or just get like this small tweak to the game? And again, it comes down to transparency and what you're actually buying. So.
Yeah, I've seen people that have bought it for every single console too. Like, oh, it came out on Switch, I want to see it. Oh, they have VR now, I want to play it on VR. And then PS4,
VR is
Xbox.
Totally different.
Yeah, I would like to play that just for the experience of it, but to have it on 5 different consoles is kind of overkill. But
yeah, no, I would say
they have re-released Skyrim 7 times.
Jesus.
On 8 different versions of the 8 different game platforms.
That is a cash grab right there. That's the worst one I could think of.
Especially since Elder Scrolls Online was such a flop. Like, it was just not good. I don't know. I always felt like
they're still updating that game.
They're still going with it.
It must have like some audience.
It must.
Yeah, they gotta have something.
But
I literally see every other month. Hey, new Elder Scrolls Online update.
Yeah,
DLC
which props to them. Updating the game, like you can't ask them to not do that. So,
and I've been waiting 13 years for a new fucking game. So
that's true. That's not supposed to release.
Dude, I wish I could like that game. I wish I could, because the lore is amazing. Like, you get to see all the stuff you don't get to see in the other ones in like way more detail. But I'm just sitting here waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out so that stuff can get ported over into there. And we actually have like a more comprehensive story-based telling of it, rather than, okay, go do fetch quest number 33 and figure out what happened to the living or the Tribune or whatever.
Yeah, we were all playing Skyrim, 10 years ago, and like as you were playing that game, you're like, man, it'd be so awesome to be able to play this multiplayer with friends. Well, like do like sieges and shit in Skyrim with your friends, but. Man. Elder Scrolls Online never delivered on it, but it's still crazy that it's going to be another, I think, 5 years before the next Elder Scrolls
that's
comes out.
Still my favorite game of all time, man. I still play it now.
It's up there.
From time to time, I'll do a whole new save, but
I feel like that's in the same vein as like GTA 5.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
GTA 6, when is that going to be released? Like next few years?
I think they put a time on it, like 2026. I think they said.
Jesus.
I think Skyrim's 2027. So.
Oh, it's Elder Scrolls 6. It's not going to be called Skyrim. It's going to be called
it's
something else.
Yeah. I don't even know if they released the name yet, but
I think it's going to be in the Argonian continent, which is like I don't know the name of it, but they have like the Hist or whatever as a continent.
Okay, well,
it'd be cool. It'd be cool to get all of like the High Elves and everything in there, where you could go back. So, like, the high order of everything and just obliterate all of them? Have, like, an original siege against that?
Curtis, you played Morrowind, right? Or
a little bit, not too much. It was a long time ago.
Do you know who Dagoth Ur is?
I think so.
He's, like, the main villain at the end.
He definitely doesn't know who that is.
Yeah,
I've heard of him. I've heard of him. I haven't played through the whole thing.
I only played through, like, once or something, if I remember right, and I played through Oblivion, but... you know those AI talking things that have been going around?
Oh, yeah, I remember you mentioning
configuring like
this.
A person's voice to perfectly replicate it with an AI.
Yeah.
They did that with Dagoth Ur, and he's got you guys should look it up on YouTube real quick. Just like look up a Dagoth Ur AI or something, and it sounds exactly like him. And they just have him like speaking like meme shit, like where he's like shit talking Argonians because he's like super racist against like other like non-dark elves. So they just have him like saying super bad shit about him. It's hilarious. Just call them filthy outlanders and stuff.
Oh my gosh. I guess the one other thing we wanted to do today is bring out a tier list to you guys. So I know we did the 80 carry from League of Legends tier list a few weeks back. Now we wanted to give Connor a go at it, and he plays all the different roles in League, but top laner, I feel like, is where he'll have the most divisive opinions.
Yeah, now that we talked about some good games, we can talk about a shit game for a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go.
Well, Tusha's excited that we get to talk about League of Legends, man.
Let's go. I'm hype. Let's go.
Jamped about that.
I think top lane is probably one of the most unfun roles in the game, 99% of the time, and then 1% of the time it's like a blast because you can just carry.
Well, that's because all you want to do is make the lane as boring as possible. So
that's your little goal. You literally say, like, I'm going... The beginning of the game, he's like, guys, I'm going to play so boring, I'm going to sit under a tower and farm for 20 minutes.
Dude, that is literally my favorite strategy. So when you're playing like against an Aurelia top or something, I don't see it very often now, or like a Jax or something. You know their strategy is to just, I'm going in level 1, I'm going to try and cheese as much as possible, then I get an early kill, and then I just start beating them up all throughout the game, just constant dive, kill. Well, I am the counter to that, because I will make sure that I am the most passive person in the top lane and only farm the whole time. They dive on me, you see me walk away. Just slowly walk away. I'm out. I'm gone. And then I sit on lane, and I wait for the lane to come to me.
Dude, you should just buy
You can see it. Dude, you can see their mental just slowly cracking because they don't have something to kill. They'll like start diving me under tower and kill themselves, or they'll start talking to me in the all chat, be like, "Dude, this is so boring, dude. Fight me." And I'm like,
I mean, it works. It wins games. So I mean,
yeah,
it does. Frustratingly enough.
All right, let's get into it though.
So yeah, how we want to do this? How I want to do this is just go one by one through here. We have elite, playable, meh, bad, and useless. I think that's pretty self-explanatory in terms of how to rank them. Just give like a quick reason why. No, we don't have every single top laner on here. This was going to be insanely long, since I feel like it has one of the most like volume of characters that can play in the top lane. But yeah, I'll leave it to you to kind of run through these, and I'll put them where you want them.
Okay. I don't see half of my troll off lane top laners that I play.
Yeah, because they're not fucking top laners, you asshole.
Aurelian Soul top lane, guys.
Yeah, shut up. You guys have never seen my Jhin top, dude? It's
oh my god.
Grasp of the Undying Graves, it should be on here, Mike. Go on.
It should not be.
True, that's actually a strat, though.
It is.
Okay, so I think what I want to do for this one is put the elite first.
Okay.
I'm going to call these the lane bullies. If you step out of line, these guys are going to fuck you all the way to Sunday, dude. There's no way you're going to get anywhere with these guys. I'm going to put Darius up there.
Yes.
Third one.
He's on the left there. Yeah. I'm going to put Jax up there.
Yep.
True as fuck. Especially in this update.
What do you think, Tisha? You think Wukong is up there? Not right now?
No, not right now.
No.
I think he's more viable in the jungle.
What about Set?
No, Set's kind of fallen off, I feel. I'm going to put Gangplank up there.
Yeah, GP is really strong.
I was going to say Urgot, but didn't he get debuffed too with like the recent updates? His shields aren't as strong?
Urgot's just kind of weird. He's in a weird position. I wouldn't put him up on elite. I think there's a lot of people that can do pretty well against Urgot.
Mm-hmm. So I guess let's at least dive into like each of these, like what makes these people, like these champs, like more irritating than anybody. Because I don't play top lane at all. I fucking suck at the top lane. So like,
wait, put Action up there. Put Action. Action will be the last fourth elite person. Okay. I think Action can be up there. Okay, so let me explain my thought process. Right, you are a innocent top melee laner, okay, and you buy your Doran shield, and you walk up to lane, and you sneak into one of the bushes. You just want to scout it out. And then a guy with a red cape and a massive axe starts pummeling your face into the ground. You start bleeding as you try and run your way and fall back to your tower as you're bleeding out. And then he hits you again with the W, and you're dead. Okay, that's what Darius does. And then you walk back to lane, absolutely sullied. And now you are down 1 kill. He's back, got longsword. And now he's going to do that on repeat for 12 kills until he goes bot lane and kills your entire team in 1 minute. Okay, that's what happens. That's what the elite top laners are. They're the people who, if you do not respect them, they will win the game.
They snowball.
Yes, they snowball hard and early. So Jax does this with his amazing level 1 with lethal tempo now. The rework lethal tempo that they made a while back just makes him an absolute monster. He's going to bash your face in, like, over and over and over again. Gangplank with First Strike, the new First Strike rune that they implemented a while back as well. Super strong. His Q, it just does massive damage early. And it's just going to keep you out of the lane for a long time if you're a melee champ. Same with action. He's got good range. He's got the shields and the double auto attack. And he goes press the attack. So those are the first 4. Those are the people I think are strong. Riven used to be up here, I think, and so was Wukong. They had amazing early game, but I think for right now we'll keep them out of there.
Yeah, this isn't every top laner, so if there's other ones that you want to include in like elite or like playable or like, you know, honorable mentions, like feel free to call those out, because it certainly is not every top laner in the game.
But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put hard scaling champs in the mid tier, because I think they're a 50-50. I think if you're playing against a shutdown elite champ in top lane, you get screwed early and you can't come to your like full power. So I'm going to put like Cho'Gath, Kale, and Nasus in mid for right now.
I agree.
Nasus, Kale up in meh.
They're playable, but they can lose heavily early, or they can snowball later. So they're like the variable mid tier. I'm going to put Mundo in playable. I think he's just overall amazing at sustaining in lane. He's got that constant health regeneration. He can poke down minions if he's getting bullied with his cleaver. And then later he can get what's the new item? Tishi, do you remember the new item where you stand around somebody and you hit them and it gives you health over time?
Show?
No. I can't remember the name of it. It's like the Demolish proc.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Okay, so he goes that item. He gets a ton of health over the game. It keeps stacking up, so he gets even more health regen. It also gives him AD from his passive. And just super strong. Super strong.
Is it Hearthstone?
Heartsteel. That's
Heartsteel, yeah.
Yeah. So most stacking things like Scion and him will... Scion's not on here. I would put Scion in Meh as well. He's another stacking champ.
Okay. Yeah, again, I went through like the top 50 and like pulled out like 20 of the ones that I know you play relatively regularly, or like that you see on a regular basis that had like a high play volume. So
okay,
I want to know what you're gonna put Garen. That's what I want to know. This is your main.
I'm gonna go with the on par with Mundo, I think. So these are people who if they play pretty well, they can beat some of the elite, but it's pretty rare, okay? So Garen, Alawi, Irelia. Does anybody play Irelia? I feel like I never see Irelia top anymore. She's always mid.
I guess you're mid, yeah.
We'll put her there. Garen, Wukong, Mordekaiser, Ornn, and Set, I think.
Those are good.
Actually, put Urgot there, too. Okay. Now, I play Ornn a lot, so I'm going to put him a little bit higher on the... Do we want to put the higher towards the left?
Yeah.
Okay,
is there a specific order that you want these in?
I'd put Alawi, and Garen at the top of that list. And set in front of Garen. Set in front of Garen.
Set in front of Garen.
And then Ornn behind Garen.
Okay.
He's really going at this, man.
I think this is probably appropriate. What do you think, Tisha?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
I think Alawi's like really, really strong, but she's just not quite strong enough to beat some of those other top laners.
I don't know, man. I was watching
What about
Vinny
Vayne?
just march down top lane.
Vayne top.
Dude, I'm so happy people aren't playing that shit top anymore.
I saw the win rate was super low for this season on Vayne top lane.
That champion's just overall bad right now.
But people play Quinn a little bit now with pressy attack and stuff, so that's kind of annoying. So all those people are very strong contenders. They all can bruise people and like just constantly fight throughout the whole game. They're not necessarily going to steamroll right away, but they can win team fights if they have help. Let's see. Oh yeah, also they have huge sustain. They can all stay in lane for basically forever. I'll put Shen in meh.
Okay.
I think his ult is just so good.
Yeah, he's got roam potential. He blocks certain melee champs from beating him up. He plays safe. He can roam really well.
Yep.
I'm gonna put Olaf, Rengar, Sin. These are all in bad. So Olaf, Rengar, Singed, and Udyr. I think you know where Derek's main champ is going.
That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, no, Kled is shit. Kled is shit. Nobody plays Kled.
I'd like to tell you that Kled is number 2 in terms of win rate on top lane. I think it's in plat.
Okay, yeah, well, we're not playing that high. We're all shit here, okay?
Tusha's playing that high.
That's the thing about Kled. He's weird because he has such strong outplay potential. It's just I never see it happen. Nobody plays Kled. I don't know why, but nobody plays him. He's got such a small win rate, and or a small play rate that I think that's why he has such a high win rate. Because the only people who play him are people who have like 3 million points on Kled.
Well, he
has the same thing with you remember the original Asol, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the original Asol had a huge win rate in high level play because the only people who played him were people who had absolutely mastered his play style. And I think it's the same for Kled. But yeah, his outplay potential is huge. Like when he gets back on Scarl, like that's a oh shit moment. Like I fucked up. I better run.
I also feel like at the same time it's got major int potential because if he misses his ult, then he's just like by himself in the middle of the enemy team. Just
all Kled players have the I'm gonna go in and we're all gonna die or win.
Yeah.
And Zed, I don't know why, or Zach, I don't know why Zach is on here.
He was like one of the top ones. I was like, I was gonna say, I thought it was weird. Now I should include more ones that I know you're gonna put in the bad.
He must be on par with like a champ that requires the jungler, your friendly jungler, to constantly gank you.
Yeah.
He's probably paired with that, so he goes back to tower maybe, and then uses his E to dive bomb him, and then the enemy jungler converges. I'm assuming that's how he's played.
Zach is an elite jungler, though. That's for sure.
Yes,
yeah, he is.
Very good jungler.
God damn. I hate playing against that fucker.
Same with Udyr. Udyr would be so high on the jungle list right now.
Yeah.
It's nutty.
I know, I hate playing those two, against those two.
Singed is weird. Singed has really strong counter potential, and he can proxy really well, but I see way too many Singed players by proxying like all the time. So they either go like 10 and 5 or 0 and 8. So.
Yeah.
He's trying to gas you up, bro.
Tisha, how do you feel about this list? You're probably the other main league player here. Like, is there anything you'd change or any glaring omissions?
I mean, I think it looks good. like you said, the only other champ I can think of that's really strong is Scion, and he's probably upper playable just because of his stacking, his health stacking, and his ulti. He can get anywhere he wants. He's just
I
a
would put
fucking
Scion on the
meatball.
top, actually. I would put
Yeah.
Scion after Action. Because he's like, I don't care what happens early, I'm gonna win the game, late game, no matter what.
Yeah.
You guys ever watch the boss FFS?
No,
No.
I mean, he's like the #1 Scion in the world.
Jesus.
He's like, all the Scion builds you see that people play, like the phase rush stuff, he's the one who started that.
Okay.
It's just
So my question is,
you remember when they used to run like Hullbreaker and they would just run in the tower and die? And like they would do is just try and push the towers. That's him. He started that.
I hate that fucking strategy. It's so dumb.
my
He's
question
like
is,
0-20 and
is
he's winning the game. Like, dude, what the fuck?
does he use his ult to run away, or does he use his ult to go in?
Both.
So he's got this thing called the Bow Special, which is when the Nexus has the 2 towers up. He waits for the minion wave to go in. He ults really far away and does like the max range ult and hits in the middle, hits both the towers with his Hullbreaker, so it does extra damage to it, and he's one-shot those towers before both of them.
God damn.
Because he goes full
saying.
damage. He goes full damage, Scion.
Jesus. Because I feel like whenever we're playing against Scion, it's like noticeable like when they use their ult. They either use it to like split push and then escape, like so they use it to get out, or they're just like full push. Because I feel like when you do it, you use it when we're pushing, and then when we play against Scion, he's running.
So he doesn't even care. Like he ints on purpose, but he'll like die level 1 on purpose to clear the wave with his passive.
Mm-hmm.
Get the stacking, and then he'll teleport back with a life advantage and a wave advantage.
Jesus.
And then he wins the lane. And he'll just keep dying over and over again, but he'll have like the most farm in the game, even with like 12 deaths.
That shit's so dumb. Yeah, exactly, dude.
He's the sole reason why they nerfed his damage to towers. This shit was
sense.
busted.
That strategy's fucking stupid busted.
I mean,
int to win, like, dude, what the fuck? And it's always against me. It's never on my team.
Yeah.
No, because Connor's playing it. Connor's playing it.
Dude, I'm playing my laid-back
Dude,
strategy.
do you think Connor can handle the ego hit of going 0-4 as Scion? Absolutely the fuck not. He'll just sit under tower. His own tower, not the enemy tower.
No, he plays Scion jungle. Like a dude.
That's true. He does do that.
Dude, Scion Jungle is good once I hit level 6.
Fuck you.
Dude, you play so many champions like that where it's like, all right, well, I'll see you guys in 10 minutes when I'm level 6. And you're not going to see me till then, so.
I like trying new things. I don't like, because you know how Vinny does I'm going to do CD Ash and stuff. I like doing that kind of stuff where I mix it up and see if something actually works. I do like that.
Yeah, but that was actually good.
Yeah, he does troll with other stuff like his ass
Akali. Yeah, Akali.
14% win rate. Like, dude, why are you picking that champ in my ranked games, man? Holy shit.
But anyway, I think this is a good tier list.
I like it, yeah.
I don't know. Nice work, Connor. Completely. There's nothing on here that I feel like anybody's like completely disagreeing with. Unlike Tush's AD carry, where there's some.
Nah, nobody agrees on top lane, man. I've seen so much disagreeing on top lane.
Really?
Like, yeah, everybody hates ranged top lanes, but all the ranged top laners hate the slow Ornn players.
Okay,
and
so it's
all
playstyle based.
Yeah, all the
definitely.
Aurelia players hate everything else. It's so playstyle based, and everybody hates every single other archetype because top lane literally is the most ass lane in the game.
It is.
Isn't it like the biggest counter pick lane?
Yeah. If you get stuck, if you're playing like, I don't know, some off lane meta shit, like you go Graves top, for example, like some troll shit, but it could work, right? And you see somebody pick Darius, you put your mouse, okay? You put your mouse down, you shut it off, and you stand by your turret. And that even that is not a guarantee that you are not going to die when the enemy jungler comes.
Mhm.
Because it's going to be an Elise, and she's going to dive in, she's going to stun you, and then Darius pulls you out of the tower range, and then you just get destroyed the whole game.
Yeah.
Get donked. Just fucking slams his hammer.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what the fuck?
Coward. Come on, man. I'm just trying to farm here.
Well, I think that wraps things up in a good spot today. Nice work, Connor, again on the tier list.
Looks good.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining. We're gonna chill out some of our stuff we got going on. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to the newsletter, just visit the website. It's in the link description below. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. We get the podcast every single week. You can also follow us on social media on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. We're posting there pretty regularly. You can get shorter clips of the podcast in case you want to if you miss one week and you just want to see like the main clips from the previous week. And yeah, thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Peace.